I'm very glad to be here in the Open Science Fair and the European and participating in the workshop for the European Open Science Cloud. I do think that it's a great initiative as far as Europe is concerned. As many people say, the last few months, data is the new oil, and we better keep our oil within Europe, exploit it, archive it, and process it, and create opportunities for both science and industry. I think also that due to the latest developments as far as GDPR is concerned, the European Open Science Cloud Initiative, and a lot of research and development with Horizon 2020, and I do think that Europe is trying, I would say, in a very positive way, to, if you like, to keep up with advancements and developments worldwide. We are not, if you like, the most, we don't have the highest population in the world, but I do think that we have the largest GDP in the world as Europe, and not as each country itself. And in order to be able to follow developments from North America, but also Asia and China, we do have to take specific initiatives, have a specific strategy for the next few years, and understand that the data that we have and we are going to be creating, especially with AI, IoT, etc., will have to be kept within Europe and also be able to be shared and, if you like, exchange between parties, whether this is research, science, industry, in a way that's going to create value add for European citizens. As far as EUDCA is concerned, and since I'm also here basically as a chairman of the European Data Center Association, I do think that European data center providers, neutral providers, can provide a very important and influential building block as far as the European Open Science Cloud is concerned, mainly because within our data centers, most of data of Europe is being placed as far as neutral environments. Our data centers are placed in very close to the highest and most dense cities in Europe, but also latency, security, availability is part of how we are doing business as European data center providers. Therefore, I do think that we can play, and we should play, a very important role towards accelerating if you like, the installation, the development of European Open Science Cloud, the security of it, the availability of it, but also creating extremely high, if you like, economies of scale, both in terms of operating expenses, but also as far as the environment is concerned, because within these kind of data centers, we see the most green infrastructure within Europe, but also within the world. It's our aim as commercial data center providers to have the lowest cost TCO, including design, development, construction, operations, and energy efficiency towards our clients. Another thing I would like to add on, though, is that as European citizens and as Europe, we need to make sure that while we are moving and working towards more digital economy, we should make sure that less populated countries, less digitally advanced countries are going to be able to keep up and cope with all these developments. We need to make sure that, as taking the example of Greece, because I'm Greek, we have our Greek islands that they are very dense during the summer months, but during the winter, almost nobody goes there. And everybody has moved from their islands towards capital cities like Athens or Thessaloniki or Patra or Heraklion. We need to make sure that there's going to be life in Greece, in Portugal, in Malta, in Estonia, in all the countries within Europe, also during this digitalization process. I would say there are two angles as far as this, the reply, answer to this question. The first is that, as throughout the industry, because we are an industry ourselves, having more data and understanding more of this data would ultimately make us far more efficient, far more productive, and that is, I think, in the favor of both ourselves as operators, but mainly of our clients. Through our data centers, for example, from our data center in Greece, almost 40–45% of internet traffic in Greece is passing through. The same applies for similar providers in Germany, France, the Netherlands, and Italy, etc. The outcome and the positive impact of that to our clients, I think it's going to be very big. On the other hand, we are not as dense as China. We have a third or a fourth of their population. In many respects, we are far behind. I was promoting Greece and EUDCA and LAMDA HELLIX in some events during 2016, and I saw that most of the people are doing, for example, transactions through peer-to-peer networks, through a completely different way of how we are doing that, both in Greece and in Europe. And they are having a lot of data that are already been creating. So we need to make sure that the data, the open access to this data and ways we'll have to make sure that this is going to be enable industry researchers and scientists to be able to create innovation and also provide value add for European citizens, our countries, our people, everybody. I would say that, of course, as every big vision, there are always going to be challenges. From my experience as far as EUDCA is concerned, since we have more than 10 nationalities as members, and we have, I think, more than 6 or 7 nationalities being on our board of directors, there are different views, different way of communicating, and we have to understand this is Europe. It's not easy to change that, but Europe is changing, and we need to, if you like, to accelerate the way European citizens are changing. Politics, economy is going to be helping or not helping towards this goal, but I do think that we are able. We have the people. We have the research. We have the smartness that will, if it's put in a coordinated way towards a common target, I do think I'm very optimistic that things are going to be completely different in the next 3 to 5 years.